First, we also have some breaking news this morning in the Oscar Pistorius trial. The results of his psych test have been revealed, and we're going to tell you what it all means in these final stages of his trial.
And GMA investigates the lithium-ion batteries in so many of our favorite electronics, everything from phones to laptops. Could they be causing catastrophic fires? And what you can do right now to protect yourself. We'll explain.
The batteries in your laptop. Speaking of your laptops, we're all talking about this Facebook thing this morning. Let us know on Twitter. A lot of outrage against Facebook because the social network is now admitting to a secret social experiment. But the company's now saying about playing with our emotions.
Yeah, they can make us happy or sad.
Why you were so upset last week.
Yeah, it was all about those Facebook messages I was getting. All right, David.
I really do like you, though.
We will get into it. I like you too, David. All right. But first, we're going to talk about the Oscar Pistorius trial. It resumes this morning after a month-long break. The results of the Blade Runner's psychological evaluation are in, and ABC's Lama Hassan is in Pretoria, South Africa with the very latest. Good morning, Lama.
And good morning to you, Amy. Well, the Oscar Pistorius trial was thrown into chaos just 6 weeks ago when a defense witness testified that the Blade Runner had suffered from generalized anxiety disorder. The court then forcing him to undergo a number of mental health examinations. Well, this morning, the results.
Oscar Pistorius back in court, listening as a report by a panel of experts says he was not mentally incapacitated the night he shot and killed model girlfriend Reeva Steenkamp.
Mr. Pistorius was capable of appreciating the wrongfulness of his act and of acting in accordance with an appreciation of the wrongfulness of his act.
The report submitted by a team of doctors after a 30-day mental evaluation finds the Blade Runner was of sound mind.
I agree, my lady, that's not in dispute.
If the report had said he was mentally incapacitated, the trial would have immediately ended and Pistorius sent to a mental hospital.
Dr. Versveld.
Instead, the trial continues with the defense calling the doctor who amputated the Blade Runner's legs as a baby on the stand. Attempting to press the point, his medical condition left him compromised on the night of the shooting. Oscar listening in the courtroom with a hand on his face.
On his stumps, he is seriously vulnerable in a dangerous situation, with a severely impaired ability to flee, severely impaired ability to ward off danger without a weapon, and in danger of falling should he put the stump down incorrectly.
Dr. Versveld saying Pistorius' stumps made it difficult for him to move quickly. The prosecution pointing out in Pistorius' version of events, he did not stumble and moved around his home freely.
Would you think it's possible for the accused to walk in a pitch dark room without falling?
I would find it improbable.
Well, the defense going back to who screamed that night, Reeva or Oscar, hoping to show the witnesses who heard a woman scream were wrong. And this morning, an acoustics expert saying it's difficult to tell the difference between a man and a woman screaming. Amy?
Lama Hassan, thank you. And let's turn now to ABC's News Chief Legal Affairs Anchor Dan Abrams. And Dan, you said everyone's been asking you, wow, is this a huge blow to the defense? You say, not really.
No, remember, the defense never claimed he was mentally incapacitated, and the prosecution never believed he was mentally incapacitated. This was a strategic move by prosecutors to effectively say to the defense team, stop talking about his mental state. Don't mention it again. It's not relevant in the context of the case. And the minute this report came out, which was no surprise, both sides simply came forward and said, okay, we accept it. Done.
And so what does happen next in the trial?
Well, look, you're hearing a really important point now, which is the scream, right? That's the testimony now. Because if these jurors believe that she was screaming in the house, it is impossible to figure out how there wouldn't be a conviction for murder. Meaning, if they're fighting and she's screaming and he kills her, that's murder. If it's not her who's screaming, if maybe it is him screaming and he sounded like a woman, as the defense is claiming, that could lead to some doubt as to whether there was a fight there. So that's a crucial point. You're also hearing now...
How does the defense prove that, though? It was a man versus a woman.
They can't. They just want the judge to have questions about it, some level of doubt, which would be a big win for them. The other point that they're trying to make right now, which is, all right, fine, we won't talk about his psychological state. We do want to talk about his physical state, which is relevant, they say, in the context of the case.
All right, Dan Abrams, a lot still more to see from South Africa. Thank you.